we have what appears to be a train engine car, right? So this is the old like chugga chugga choo choo looking choo choo train, right? This is the train of success. Now, if you've recently gone through training, you may remember me telling you that sales is a process. It has to start a certain way, just like a train. Trains start with the engine car and they end with the caboose. All the cars in between can get all mixed up and jumbled up, and it doesn't really matter. You're still going to get to your destination. But what remains constant is your introduction. So I want to work on your intro. Take some time today to really dissect the first 30 seconds of your phone call. You really only got less than that. You probably got 7, 8 seconds to make a good impression on a client the first time that they speak with you. So work on that. Work on your tone. Work on your presentation. Do you sound like you're in control? Do you sound confident? Do you sound unsure of where this person came from? Why is this person calling me? If you sound like that between the lines, then we need to work on that. So the intro is the caliber strong intro. What comes after that is important, but it doesn't really matter what order you get to all of those things. So let's continue on with the train theme. Next up, we've got a phrase here, and I think this is an English phrase here from like their subway term, but I'm going to stick with the train theme here because I like it. So mind the gap. What is gap selling? So gap selling initially is gain trust. Who we are, what are we doing, how are we going to do it? We're going to take control right then and there. So we're gaining that trust because we know what we're doing and we sound like it. We're going to guide them through this process. We're going to give them a heads up on how long it's going to take. Next, we're going to ask some questions. And I like to say, let's ask some curious questions. So we're going to ask questions along the way. Sometimes we call this digging deep. Sometimes we call this being curious. But the point is, we want to get to know our borrower so that we can figure out what their problem is. Because at the end of the day, we want to provide some solutions. So mind the gap. Gain their trust, build up some rapport, ask some questions, which actually builds up rapport as well, and allows us to figure out what the problem is. And very often, you will find that we're going to find a solution to a problem that the borrower didn't even know they had. They just called in to lower their interest rate and lower their monthly payment because why wouldn't they? I could have told you that before the phone rang. That's what they wanted to do. But they didn't realize what they really wanted was a 27-year loan that shortened their term 6 months, but also did a small amount of debt consolidation or lowered their monthly payment and shortened their term, the trifecta. So sometimes we can get the magic touch there because we asked a few other questions and we provided a solution that differentiates us from everybody else. So make sure we gain the trust by asking a lot of questions, and we can provide solutions that are tailor-made for our borrowers, not just the generic 30-year fixed at 3 1/4. Now, let's talk about momentum, keeping with our train theme today. Did you know that a 2-inch block can stop a train from moving? Momentum is a very powerful thing. Now, it's true. You can go Google this thing. What they use to stop trains is actually metal, I believe, but it's roughly 2 inches tall, and it stops the trains from moving. That's ridiculous. Now, that same 2-inch block, though, when the train is going 75 or 175 miles an hour, it's just a blip. You barely even realize it. It just plows straight through that 2-inch block. And the difference is momentum. So I bring this up because when we're very first starting back at our introduction, then it's important to always use language that propels us towards the end game. So the end game in our case is getting a credit card deposit, ordering an appraisal, earning some business, saving some money for somebody, solving their problems, if you will. Now, but to get to that point, we have to build up a head of steam. We have to ask questions like, hey, let's dive into this. Let's jump ahead with that. Let's move forward. If we use language like that, that propels the body forward, it evokes physical feelings of moving forward. And the customer feels that. It's an odd thing where words will impact the way that we feel, but it will work. So use language such as that that provides a physical visualization for moving forward, like diving forward or jumping in, or, hey, let's sprint to the finish line on this.